Just filling a piping, oh look at that. The thing came off. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Mark and welcome to Epic Confections. If you're new here, actually I know there's a few new people here because I'm almost at 4,000 subscribers, which blows my mind. It blows my mind that there's 4,000 people who want to see me make cake. That makes a gal feel pretty good. Smash that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell notification for new epic videos every single week. This week I wanted to show you what it takes to make a wedding cake in real time. So no, the video is not going to be, you know, an hour and 40 minutes. I will fast forward some parts. However, I wanted to show you step by step what I do to make a wedding. So let's do it. Okay, so it is the morning of wedding cake day. Super excited. Last night I baked off all of my cake. I got my flowers, I got my butter, got my icing sugar ready to go this morning. And of course, every time I go to make a wedding cake, I forget something. Absolutely. So I forgot to buy a cake board. That's kind of essential. The cake has to sit on something. So my professional advice, get your shit together, unlike myself, and make a checklist of all the things you need. Anyway, I'm off to run around to do some shopping before I start this cake. Oh God, I feel like I have a monkey on my shoulder. So to start, last night I already baked off my cakes. I baked off 2 10-inch round white vanilla cakes and 2 round 6-inch vanilla round cakes. So when you are doing a wedding cake, always pre-bake your cake, even a couple days in advance so that you know it's done. So to get started on this wedding cake, I'm gonna start with making my buttercream. 3 simple ingredients: vanilla extract, some butter, some unsalted butter, and some icing sugar. So the time now is 11:23 a.m. We'll see what it takes and how long it takes to make a wedding cake. Let's do it. So my little KitchenAid mixer can do 1 batch of buttercream. It sucks, I wish I had a bigger one. However, I know exactly what the measurements are because I've been doing this for so long. So it takes 1 whole brick of unsalted butter. So that's 454 grams of butter. And I'm gonna put the butter in my mixer first, put it on medium speed, and just really let that whip up until air gets incorporated in it and it's really nice, light, and fluffy. Then we're gonna be adding half a bag of our powdered sugar. Let it mix up some more. Add the rest of this. Some vanilla, good to go. Just stopping it and scraping down the side of the bowl. I love these little bags of Red Path icing sugar, hashtag not sponsored, but they are the exact amount. They are 6 cups of icing sugar, so it's perfect. So I'm literally just eyeballing this, pouring in about half of my bag of icing sugar. Just gonna be starting this on a really low speed. And here's a little tip for you. I have a shot glass of water, hot water, just putting in a little bit of water, just to help that icing sugar absorb into the butter. Just slowly increasing the speed. And you'll be able to tell when you're looking at the consistency of the buttercream if you need to add a little bit more water. You can add milk as well. Now I'm gonna add in the rest of my bag of icing sugar. Next I'm gonna add in a little bit of vanilla. I always just eyeball my vanilla. Not too much, a couple squirts. Put that on a low speed, and we're gonna add the rest of the shot of hot water. And that should all incorporate nicely. I'm gonna let this mix for a good couple minutes to really lighten it up, fluff it up, and then we're gonna have to work on another batch of it. Real-time wedding cake. All right, so that buttercream looks great. It's nice and light and fluffy. Always do a taste test. 1 batch down, 1 to go. I actually might have to make 3 batches, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see if we can get away with 2. Whilst that is mixing, clean up your area. Clean your shit up, man. I'm gonna keep this handy because I have a feeling I'm gonna have to make a 3rd batch, but until then I'm just gonna put it off to the side. Look at all that goodness. Yes! Beautiful. So that's it. Here is 2 batches of American buttercream. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The time now is 11:40, so that took us less than 20 minutes to make 2 batches of buttercream. Let's cross our fingers that I don't have to make a 3rd batch. Just gonna cover this with some plastic wrap until I am ready to use it. Gonna put this off to the side and then we can start working on our cake. So as you just saw, I just took my 10-inch round vanilla cakes out of the pans. This one is nice and flat, super happy with that. This one needs just a little trim off the top. Just a little. Just make sure it's nice and even. Yes, it is. I got my cake board here, the one that I had to run out and get this morning. Got my turntable, got my buttercream, we're all good to go. The time now is 11:51. I'm just starting my wedding cake. Let's do it. Just cutting this cake right in half, all the way around. Just filling up piping. Oh, look at that. The thing came off. And this filling, the bride just requested a straight up plain buttercream. Easy. So what I'm doing is just rimming the entire cake. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that until it's all filled. That way you have a nice even layer of buttercream for the cake to sit on. And we're gonna do the exact same thing for this next layer. And just putting the hat back on. That's what I call it. Putting the hat back on, making sure it's nice and even, and then transferring that onto the other layer. Just kind of eyeballing it, making sure that it's all centered. So next, what I like to do is just fill up my buttercream, or sorry, fill up my piping bag with my buttercream, and just fill in all these gaps. Because if you don't fill those in, when you ice the cake, air's gonna try to leak out and it's gonna cause bubbling. You don't want that, especially with a wedding cake. So just going in and filling in all those gaps, even at the bottom. I'm just taking my spatula and kind of giving this a quick little crumb coat. Just using some hot water in my spatula, going back in and going all the way around. Really trying to push that buttercream into all those crevices. Alright, that looks good, I'm happy with that. I'm actually gonna pop this into the fridge for about 10 minutes just to kind of let that set. And then we're gonna be working on icing this bad boy. I do have a friend coming over for lunch for like half an hour, so I'm gonna be behind on making this wedding cake, just a heads up. It is now 12 noon. So while my bottom tier is in the fridge chillin', I'm gonna work on the top tier. So here I have a 6-inch round disc, cardboard disc, which this cake is gonna sit on. There is a hole in the middle for the dowel to go through. I'll show you all that. So here are 2 6-inch round white cakes. I've already leveled them out. Now we're just gonna be filling them again with plain American buttercream. Just gingerly pushing them down. I'm gonna put a little bit of buttercream on my board so that the cake doesn't slide around. I'm also gonna put it on my turntable. It can be a little messy. That's just the way I do it though. So again, going back in with my buttercream, just kind of filling in any of those gaps. Taking my spatula with hot water, just smoothing it out. Now this again is a little crumb coat, so it's not going to look pretty, you know what I'm saying? It's just a little crumb coat to hold all those crumbs in. That's why it's called a crumb coat. Oh, Mark. You're hilarious. That's it for this. I'm gonna put this into the fridge to chill for a good 20 minutes. And the time now is 12:05. I do have a friend coming over for lunch, so there's gonna be like half an hour gap. So, I know, minus points for me. But so far, it's been less than an hour. We cut and filled both tiers with American buttercream, and we made 2 batches of buttercream. So I think that's pretty good for less than an hour. All right, we'll see you soon. So my friend stopped by for a quick little chat and coffee. So we're gonna knock about 20 minutes off the final time. Anyway, all right, so my cakes are still in the fridge. For this cake design, we're gonna need some yellow buttercream. So I just put some buttercream in a separate bowl. Just putting a couple drops of yellow in there. And just mixing it up. Not liking that yellow, so we're just gonna darken it up a little bit. So judging by the amount of buttercream that I have left, I'm definitely gonna have to make another batch. Just filled my piping bag with buttercream. I'm just gonna start icing my cake. Just making little squiggles all over the cake. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you what time it is. It is 12:53. So just taking some hot water and my spatula. Just gonna start by smoothing out the top of the cake. That hot water and the metal really helps smooth out buttercream. And then just holding my spatula straight up and down, just working on the side of the cake, just evening out that buttercream. So I just took a little bit of that yellow buttercream and I put it in a disposable piping bag. I'm gonna go ahead and make a yellow line, 2 yellow lines. Just kind of flattening it out, smoothing out that yellow. And here I have a, I guess it would be called like a ripple. I don't know what kind of pattern that is. I should ask Rosie, because it's from Rosie's Dessert Spot. I'll link up her website so you can go purchase one because they're really, really good. So I'm just gonna be holding the cake comb straight up and down, pressing it against the cake, and just dragging it along. Taking a spatula and just kind of taking off the excess. So running that cake comb along the cake a couple times, you can tell where you need to add more buttercream. Just gonna smooth it out a little bit here. Takes a few tries, but I mean, it's coming together. So now I'm gonna try to do one continuous swipe all the way around. Just gonna keep going around until I'm happy. So next I'm just going to drag in this buttercream on the edges of the cake right into the center so it's a nice, sharp, crisp edge. So next we're going to be doweling this cake. I have a thick plastic dowel that's going to go through both tiers, right in the center of the cake. And then I have some bubble tea straws. I don't normally like working with bubble tea straws. That's all I have right now. I'm just gonna use the bottom of the dowel. Just kind of mark where I think the center is. And I am just going to shove that all the way down. Just gonna be inserting my bubble tea straws. Keep in mind that the bottom of the top tier is a 6-inch diameter. So you just kind of want to eyeball it and make sure you don't put those straws past the 6-inch diameter. You want that straw to be nice and level with your icing. Now I'm gonna stick this into the fridge while we work on our top tier. Actually, no, I have to make another batch of buttercream first. Anyway, this is going in the fridge. Okay, the time now is 1:21. I just made another batch of buttercream and I took out my top tier. So if you guys ever have to tier up a cake and you get one of those cake boards that already has a hole on the bottom like this, take a dowel, the same size dowel that you're gonna use on your bottom tier, stick it in there so that there's already a hole, good to go, a carved out hole when you put that onto your bottom tier. Because if you don't kind of like pre-drill a hole, it's gonna cause problems. So I just filled my piping bag with buttercream and I'm gonna go ahead and start icing this guy. So just taking Rosie's cake home again, and I'm gonna start shaping this into the shape I want. I think that's good. All right, so now we're gonna put a little bit of that yellow buttercream at the bottom. Go ahead and start shaping that again. Every time I go around the cake once, I take my spatula and wipe it off. And then we'll start again. Now I'm just gonna bring in those edges so that we have a nice crisp edge. I'm gonna take my whole turntable and put that in the fridge for about 10 minutes. All right, it is 1:30. It is assembly time. While you're assembling your cake, keep your buttercream handy, keep your spatula and hot water ready, because with a pattern like this, when I go to take this off of my turntable, it's probably gonna crack and I'm gonna need to fix it. So keep everything handy. Let's get started. Gingerly start lifting up this cake. As you can see, it's gonna need some fixing, right? This cake is gonna have sunflowers on it, so you can hide some imperfections. Just with my finger, I can kind of feel where that hole is. Stop, that's dirty. And I'm gonna put it right on that dowel. Maybe. There it goes. And I'm just gonna slide it down, and it's really easy because we made that pre-drilled hole. And you just kind of let it go. Look at that. It's so level, it's perfect. So now I'm just going to wipe up my turntable, put the whole cake on my turntable and kind of fix it up, and we'll start decorating it. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that yellow buttercream, just put a little bit at the bottom where there's gaps. I think that's good. And then just taking Rosie's comb again, dipping it in my hot water, and just gingerly going along the bottom of the cake. I am holding it at an angle because I don't really want to touch the ridges on the top because that can screw it up potentially. Just taking a medium tip, gonna be piping a little border around each tier so it looks like baby pearl. So that is it. Next step is to add some sunflowers to this beautiful cake. So here I have some real fresh sunflowers. They were really tiny when I bought them yesterday, and I put them in some water and magically they opened and blossomed. So to make them food safe, all you really have to do is just wrap the stem in some aluminum foil. Because sunflowers are rather thick, if you are gonna actually stick it into the cake, try to make a little hole first so that you're not destroying your whole cake. I'm going to really try to not stick the stem in. So I'm gonna cut it pretty flush to the actual back of the flower. So again, if I was sticking this into the cake, the actual stem, I would be wrapping it in aluminum foil so that it's food safe. I'm not sticking the stem in, I'm kind of just placing it on the side of the cake. So I'm just gonna be cutting this stem off. So I have these little tiny parchment squares. And I'm just folding them in half and just cutting a little bit of the center out. So that I can kind of, see there's a hole in it. So that I can stick that little stem in there. That parchment paper is protecting the flower from hitting the actual cake. So here it is, guys. Here is the 2-tier sunflower wedding cake. I hope you enjoyed a day in the life of Mark making a wedding cake. The time is 1:50. We started at 11:20. So James, how long is that?
I don't know.
So it took me 2 hours and 10 minutes to make this wedding cake. A day in the life of Mark making a wedding cake. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, smash that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell notification for new epic videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see y'all next week. Mwah.